If you watched my Sidisi deck a couple weeks back, you saw this guy hiding in the 99 of that deck, and instead today the Mycotyrant is going to take the lead and use some of the cards from that deck along with some oddballs that I haven't gotten a chance to try, plus a whole slew of new cards from Lost Caverns that I've been dying to try out. So this is my Fungus Among Us deck. Now, if you don't know what the Mycotyrant does, let's take a quick look and see what he is. He's a Elder Fungus who is a star, so he's a 1/1 by default because he looks at the number of saplings and funguses that you have, and he himself is a fungus. And then he has trample, so the bigger he gets, the more likely he is to punch on through. And then at the beginning of your end step, you create X 1/1 funguses that can't block for every card that went to, or every permanent that went to your graveyard this turn. So it has a descend mechanic attached to it. So as for the rest of the deck, it's a bunch of mill cards. It's also things with Surveil and also things with Explore. So a lot of this stuff is going to look kind of familiar from the Sidisi deck, but this guy actually takes advantage of the big mill triggers on things like Breach the Multiverse and things that do like, mill 5, mill 6, whatever. Because Sidisi will only give you one zombie for that. If you knock 7 permanents off your deck with a Breach the Multiverse, you're going to get 7 funguses off of that thing. So here is what I would call some oddballs. I've been wanting to use them in a deck, recently, but haven't really had much in the way of use for them. So we have things like Spore Crown Thallid. If you're not playing a Sapperling deck, you usually don't see this card get used. Well, see, he also buffs up funguses. So you can take your little 1/1 funguses and the Mycotyrant himself and give them just a little nudge, which actually helps you close out some games sometimes. I also have 1 ring to rule them all in here. Don't get to use this thing very often, but what's nice here is if you make your Mycotyrant the ring bearer and he's already got, 6, 7 power attached to him, you're going to mill yourself for 6 or 7 stuff. I don't even care about the other chapters on this thing. Yeah, it'll blow up all my non-legendary creatures. I really don't care. I like the big mill burst, because then if you have some kind of draining effect, like a Blood Artist or something like that, if you blow up everything else, it doesn't matter. They're going to get pinged for that damage, and it's not going to matter anyways. And then, yeah, the Mycotyrant will shrink down when everything gets blown up, but then a lot of that stuff's going to be coming back anyways, because you have other mills and things to kind of generate more funguses anyways. And then we have the Dreadhound. Now, this was in my Sidisi deck too, but this thing actually puts in some extra mileage with the Mycotyrant, because as your stuff is getting milled, surveilled, and all that good stuff away, you're going to start pinging your opponents down. Well, at the same time, you get triple mills when this thing enters the battlefield. And if you're able to get multiple permanents off of it, well, you're going to get a bunch of funguses off with Mycotyrant. And then as for the rest of the deck, it's a lot of stuff from Lost Caverns and a few things from the Wilds of Eldraine that I've been wanting to try out and actually fit really well in this deck build. So we have things like the Deathcap Marionette. It's a fungus itself, has Death Touch, mills you for 2 when it enters the battlefield, so you get more descending triggers off of it. Fanatical Offering, you sack a creature, so a permanent goes to the graveyard, so try to sacrifice something that is an actual card, because Mycotyrant does not trigger off of tokens going to the graveyard, because otherwise it would turn into an infinite loop, and it would just be able to sacrifice and loop itself over and over again. We also have Souls of the Lost. You sack or discard a card, discard a permanent, sack a permanent, and then you turn around and it gets that much +1. So it's kind of like a new variation on the Tarmogoyf. We also have Propagator Primordium. Now, this is an alchemy card. I only own a copy of this because I opened it with the 3 free packs they gave us, but it works wonderfully in this deck because you get a 3/3 fungus, which then will increase Mycotyrant's power on it in of itself. It's got a good sized body on it for 2 mana. And then on top of that, it puts 2 copies that are conjured into your graveyard. Well, those 2 conjured copies count as 2 permanents going into your graveyard. So Mycotyrant sees those and gives you 2 more funguses. We also have Chupacabra Echo, which doesn't see a ton of play in, standard or any other format. This is really just a limited card for the most part. But it's really cool here because we have so many permanents in the deck, because this deck is loaded with permanents. Most of the spells in here are some kind of permanent. That way we get maximum usage out of Mycotyrant going off. So this can just remove, 5, 6, 7 drops pretty easily. And then we got Starving Revenant. This was in the Sidisi deck. It surveils, you dunk stuff off, and then it has its own descend trigger that when you're starting to draw cards later, your opponents are going to start getting drained and you're going to start gaining life. Another new card that I haven't tried yet I haven't actually even cast this yet because I haven't had the opportunity. Terror Tide for 4 mana. It has Fathomless Descent. All creatures get -X. -X equals to the number of permanents in your graveyard. Well, again, we're dumping off so many cards into our graveyard that this could tear down a freaking Merit Lage in probably just a few turns. We have Roaming Throne. You know I love this card. If you've been paying attention to my channel or if you've seen it before, you name Fungus, Mycotyrant's trigger goes off twice at the end of the turn. We also have Lich Knight's Conquest, which works really well with this deck because we were making so many tokens. If we're sacrificing all of our other stuff to get more Descend triggers to go off, then you can sacrifice those tokens and kind of create a small reciprocating loop to bring all that stuff back to the graveyard. Because if you're bringing back at least 2 creatures off of this, you're already beating the rate for most reanimation spells. Most reanimation spells cost 5 mana for 1 creature. You get, sack 2 tokens and use this to get 2 of your regular permanents back. You're already farther ahead than most spells that do this kind of thing. We also have Malevolent Witchkite. Now, this is kind of in the same wheelhouse as the Lich Knight's Conquest. For 6 mana, you get a 5/4 flyer. You sacrifice any number of artifacts, enchantments, or tokens to draw that many cards. Well, if you sacrifice, 5 or 6 of your Fungus tokens, refill your hand, it's all good. And then we also have the Skullspore Nexus. I wanted to try this out because it creates funguses to make the thing bigger. It costs less, so as the Mycotyrant gets bigger, this costs less to cast. And on top of that, you can start doubling creatures' power with it. And then if a creature dies, you get a fungus token of the size of that power. Well, the cool thing here is with that doubling ability, if you get your Mycotyrant up to 5 or 6 power and then you double it, all of a sudden you have a 12/12 Trampler on your hands, able to smash through most things other than, an opposing Galta or something like that. And then we also have Jade Light Spelunker in here from the new set. You can explore X times. So every time you explore and it's a permanent, you just flip it into your graveyard. That's another Descend trigger for Mycotyrant, and that's more funguses just for us to work off of. And then a land base, I mentioned this, I think, a couple times during the gameplay that I've already shot. You want to use things like the fetch lands. You want to use things like the River Tears Overlook, things that allow you to play a land and then sacrifice them to go get them into the graveyard. Fabled Passage, those kind of things. Because every time you do that, you sacrifice the land, you get another Descend level trigger for that Mycotyrant trigger at the end of your turn. So that's the deck in essence. Let's take a look at the gameplay and we'll talk more about it afterwards. Rielle the Everwise. Let's see what we got going on here. It's going to be a lot of self-wheeling type stuff. We got Old Rutstein, Doubling Season Iara. This is actually pretty good. I'm hoping this goes as well as it did as I was practicing it, because this deck freaking slapped when I was messing around with it. I'm going to keep a land, because we do need to get up to about 4 to 5 mana pretty reasonably. We'll keep the Wooded Foothills for when we play the Mycotyrant, because it counts any permanent going to the graveyard. So if we use the fetch land and then drop the Mycotyrant, that would work really well. Let's try Old Rutstein, because I don't like blue mana being open. So what's nice then is also with Rutstein kind of just trickling through the mills, we can drop the Mycotyrant down, get an extra trigger off of it. All right, so let's go with the Wooded Foothills. We will drop Mycotyrant. We'll break the Foothills. We'll go get our Shockland out of the deck, because it's the only thing it can search up. That's not a straight basic. It can enter tapped. And then pass turn. These are treasures. I was thinking they were clues. That art's kind of goofy. Okay. So that got us 2 triggers. We got 2 funguses off of it. Next turn we can drop Doubling Season, but then we don't have any kind of milling. But then the Chupacabra Echo's got enough to work with where we could kill Rielle by just dropping it instead. So that might be where we go. I think it depends on what their mana's doing. All right, they're going to bounce the Mycotyrant probably. Yeah. Okay. That was the expectation when they played Aether Chandler. So they're going to do that. They'll discard 2, then they'll draw 2 more off of Rielle, and then Rielle will go up. But that's fine. We can probably just slam the Chupacabra Echo. I mean, playing the land, we could do the Chupacabra Echo and the Mycotyrant and get both of them back online. And then we'd still get one trigger off of Mycotyrant because of the mill off of Old Rutstein. Okay, so we'll play this. So the question is, do I do Mycotyrant or do I do... Yeah, I think I stick to my guns here. I go with this and this. We'll kill Rielle. I don't care about the Aether Chandler. And then I just swing with Rutstein and the other two. It's like if they want to block a Fungus, whatever. Because we just get it right back anyways, because we've already milled for the turn. Now that could bite us in the butt if they have a 3 damage burn wipe, but it wouldn't matter anyways, because as soon as the other 2 funguses die, the Mycotyrant's power and toughness would drop to lethal anyways. So I wasn't too concerned about that. Alright, Rutstein mills, get a treasure. Let's do this. If I do that, I'm just trying to think like, all right, let's do Harrow now. That'll give us another permanent going to the graveyard. We'll get black. So I can't play Iara and get that going, but if they have a was it Spell Pierce, I might be in trouble. Well, screw it. Oh, didn't get it. All right, so let's go with everything except... No, I'll throw the Chupacabra in there too. Why not? It disincentivizes them to block the funguses so that Mycotyrant will grow up in size. All right, so that gives us multiples. Mycotyrant's a 9/9. Again, if they have a board wipe that's burn based, we're screwed anyways. So might as well go for broke. I wish we could have got Iara down. We just didn't have that kind of mana to work with. Yeah. Yeah, there's not much they could do there. They were at 16 and then 9. Yeah, they were well past lethal if they couldn't sweep the board. Gishath. All right, dinosaurs incoming. All right, we have Kaya's Ghost Form, which is really good with Mycotyrant. So let's keep that. We'll go Forest on 1. We'll go with this on black on 2, because we have a lot of double black stuff and even triple black stuff in the deck. Get Signet online. So then this way, what we can do is do the I talk right now. The Deathcap Glade, play Mycotyrant, play Kaya's Ghost Form on the Mycotyrant. So we'll go ahead and drop the Glade, and we'll do exactly what I said. We'll do the Tyrant, we'll do Kaya's Ghost Form. Keep it alive. That way, if they have a fight spell, doesn't matter. It'll be good for at least a turn. And then things get interesting past this. We'll have to figure out what we're doing. I'm not blocking that. If you want to like do some kind of pump tricks or whatever, I don't care. We'll go with that because again, lots of black. Let's see, second artifact or creature for that. I don't want to do that. Let's go with Black Market Connections. We'll keep Fanatical Offering up in case I need it for something. Now we're kind of really slow. We don't have a bunch of mill or sacrifice effects going off. We don't have Explorer, Surveil, any of that stuff that helps us get the permanents into the graveyard. Not gonna block. We'll take the hit. All right, now we got some business going on here. We're gonna do a full send because the 3/2 counts as a fungus, so it will pump up the Mycotyrant. Oh, Mirkwood Bats. Oh, it's so good. All right, so let's go with Forest. Let's go. I could have done the Rivetier's Outlook, but it's neither here nor there. Let's go with the Bats. And then we will do I'm trying to think of the best course of action here. I think it's Fanatical Offering, sacrifice the treasure token, or no, actually not the treasure token, the 3/2. Because I get a ping here, and then I also get to get 2 more pings off of the map, or actually it's 1 map token, so another ping off the map token. I'm thinking 2 because of Get Lost. And then we'll go ahead and explore with this. So another set of sacrifices. Just slowly bleed them down. We'll dump that in the grave. Because we have Sir Conrad, so it doesn't matter. Trying to think, do they have any way of... You know what? Doesn't matter. I have Kaya's Ghost form. If they have a flash blocker, I'm not concerned. So then we'll get another ping off the Mirkwood Bats, because this is going to come in. I need one of my big mass milling spells. Like, Gishath is coming. Like, no joke. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised to see Allosaurus Shepherd in the deck. That's really only good in an elf deck versus a dinosaur deck, but that's their choice. All right, enters Scry 2. They'll draw another card because of that. We have Riveteer's Outlook. Zilliport's in the yard. I'm just trying to think if there's ways to cheaply get another thing in the graveyard. Then we can use Blood for Bones, sacrifice a fungus to go get it out of the graveyard. Because then 1 comes to the hand, 1 goes into play. Chupa. I just gotta look really quick. We're at 15. Cannot afford to do a full send, so let's just do the other 2. All right. Let's go Riveteer's Outlook. Or Overlook, excuse me. And let's go with... I have a black in hand. Let's go with a green. And then let's get rid of the 7/7 with Chupa Chupa. Both of the Chupacabras were kind of a late addition to my deck. Okay, well, that trample's over. And 1 turn. I was looking for more ways of getting permanents that could remove things because the Mycotyrant looks at permanents. So the deck is mostly, I would say, probably 85% permanents between the lands and the spells that are in it, just to maximize Mycotyrant with all the mill and stuff that's in this deck. But of course, we've not seen any of the big mill spells. We've just had little ancillary crap come up thus far. All right, so let's do this, because I like the ping action going on with the bats. Souls of the Lost is nice. They gave up. I just want to see. So 11, so 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop Fabled Passage, sacrifice it. I'd swing, they go to 1. End of turn, I would create a token off of Mycotyrant, and they would die to the Mirkwood Bats. So yeah, Bats is pretty good here. Atraxa. All right, so Proliferate. It's either going to be poison or +1/+1 counters, because that's really all we have on Arena. I kind of like this because we have the Chupacabra in it. One Ring to rule them all is kind of fun. In testing, it's kind of funny because if you get the Mycotyrant up, 10 plus or whatever, and you mill yourself for 10 and hit a bunch of stuff, it's just kind of funny. All right, we'll sit on the Mire Triton. I don't want to use it until I have Mycotyrant down. So this turn we're going to do... Yeah, we're going to do Bloodstained Mire. We'll go with a black because we have a lot of black requirements in the deck. Actually, we'll go get the Overgrown Tomb. We will shock ourselves. Play the Mycotyrant. We'll get a token off of it. And then we have... I'm trying to think what the best play... Oh, they didn't go for Atraxa straight. Okay. Poison. Yeah, you wouldn't play that in the non-poison variation of the deck. So So let's see here. If I smash the Ornithopter, that would guarantee they would not get that down this turn. If I smash the Beast Collar, then I could swing with both of these and at least one damage would get through, if not two. If I do Chatterfang, there's so many dumb options here. Let's go with... Let's get Chatterfang down. I want to get what could overload the board as quickly as I can. We're not going to swing with Mycotyrant because they would just block it with the Kyrian Beast Collar. Now I got to give them the free shot. So Atraxa might come down this turn. If it does, I will slam the Chupacabra on its head. All right, so there's that, and that's fine. Yeah, so they're going to do that. They have a forest, so Chatterfang can come slamming on through of its own accord. All right. So we're going to slam the Chup. I'm not... Well, actually, play this first, then play the Chupacabra. Let's be correct in our mana efficiency here. And then we'll swing for 3 because they can't block it. So then Chupacabra can be, you know, the sacrificial lamb. It can, you know, block that Beast Collar if they want to swing with it. Ideally, what we could do is get a land and then drop the Mire Triton, and then we would mill and then get Doubling Season down at the same time. Oh, you... Okay. Still same plan. It would just... We aren't going to make as many tokens. Alright, so Chupacabra is going to be the chump, because I do have ways of bringing creatures back. Speaking of which... Alright, so let us... We did not get the mana to do the Mire Triton tricks. If I sacrifice that, don't get that. It's kind of annoying. All right, screw it. Let's just play Doubling Season while they're tapped down. If they spend their time trying to hit me or blow up Doubling Season or whatever, that just leaves the Mycotyrant sitting there doing what it's doing. And if they don't stop me, well then Mire Triton's going to hit really, really hard on the board here and give me a bunch of tokens, which Mycotyrant then gets bigger, which then One Ring to Rule Them All gets better, because then I can mill for a bunch in one big burst. I don't even care about milling them down. The big part is Chapter 1 for us. All right. I mean, you can swing for 6. I'm gonna take it. Gonna block the Annex Sentry because I don't care. Unless they're playing some kind of weird pump that I'm unaware of in a toxic deck. This is an Infect. If this was an Infect deck, I would not block. All right. So let's get stage 1 going here. Let's get the Mire Triton down. Mill ourselves for 2, which also turns into a nice stumbling block for that Beast Collar. And yes, I know they can move the counters, but then One Ring to Rule Them All can blow things up too. All right. So we got... Ooh, I got things that Blood for Bones would be good for. So let's do... I'm just trying to think. Do I sack the Mire Triton just to get that additional counter on the Mycotyrant? Is it... I think it's worth it. Because you got to remember, you don't get anything off of the tokens going to the graveyard. So let's bring back the Chupacabra, and then let's put the... let's put the Stitcher Supplier in my hand. Chup can blow up the Annex Sentry. That way I can get back Chatterfang, so when these tokens are created, I also get the squirrels, which can then chump block. We're not attacking because they have ways of killing. So we get 6 tokens of Fungus, and we'll get 6 tokens of Chatterfang. So that's kind of fun. And we have a Malevolent Witch Kite, which is even better. I wish I had a Drain Effect on board. If I had a Drain Effect. All right, so Drowning Anchor is going to kill Chatterfang, and that's fine. We got the big chunk of squirrels out of it. Oh, damn it. All right. What's this do? No, not enough. Take action. We're gonna have to recast it to do the fun trick. But again, we have a bunch of chump blockers, so I'm not that concerned. All right, so let's drop the Mycotyrant. Let's drop the Stitcher Supplier. 2 permanents went down. No attacks. All right, so Mycotyrant is really big, so we can get a really big mill off of the One Ring to rule them all, as long as it survives. Wow. Yeah, they're like heavy duty toxic. All right, so yeah, screw it. So the Ring Bear is going to be the Mycotyrant. Oh, the doubling season pushed it all the way through. Holy crap. I missed that. Whoops. Yeah, that's a thing that just happened. Well, I guess I'm going to break this because I screwed that up. I completely forgot about doubling season doing that. Nope. I was going for the super turbo mill, and instead it jumped straight to chapter 2. Whoops. Got to remember that combination does not work together. We got Kambal, the Consul of Allocation. So they're going to try to drain us for every one of our little non-creature permanents that we play. We're okay to go ahead and do this. Probably should have played the green just so I didn't have the hang-ups in the system. That's all right. Let's go ahead and get the Mesmeric Orb rolling. Wow, that was a good hit. Knocked a Morel right into the graveyard. There's Johnny, okay. They must have some other life game going on. And that's okay. Let's do... I'm gonna play the Mycotyrant just because we're gonna get a little something out of it. But if they don't deal with it, it's gonna do a lot for us. 3 lands, okay. Let's hope they were getting land hosed. 2, 3. Ah, we lost our breach. It's all right. Let's see. Nothing I can bring back with Omen. So Chupacabra Echo and Skyfisher Spider can both kill things. I'm thinking I want... I think I just want to kill Kambal. Not deal with his dumb butt. And we won't attack because they can gang block the Tyrant. No point in that. Unfortunately, though, of all that milling, we only got 1 permanent, so... Alright, they're going to go after Mycotyrant, and that's okay. We get a land. I could just use Omen and bring it back to my hand. I'm going to decline. I'm going to let it sit in my yard. Because it doesn't matter. It'll see every card. We didn't get a land, so let's just go ahead and play the Omen, bring it back, and replay it. So give me hand. And just replay it. And then... yeah, I'm okay with the Johnny's Primate dying if they want to stick that out there. Keep on churning. Now, oftentimes than not, you're going to get yourself messed up with the Mesmeric Orb because it's going to mana screw you. But right now it seems to be either color screwing or mana screwing our opponent. Alright, Lich Knight's Conquest got milled. Oh, Ghost Form is good. Let's see if they got any other kind of removal. Because if they don't, I am going for the big knockout here. So that's going to put 2 more permanents in my graveyard, and I'm just going for broke. Yeah, go ahead and block and kill the Chupacabra. Give me another thing to throw in the yard. Oh, boom. All right, 6 more. And we could mill for big stuff this turn. We could have a total of what? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excuse me. Wow. Now that went perfectly. There's Okinec Ahau. We're eventually getting around to building that deck. I like this hand. We got a little bit of acceleration in it. And we got quite a bit of mill in it too. So we'll do Tomb on 1, Signet on 2, probably Woe Strider on 3. Oh, that's good. We're getting more land to kind of balance out. So yeah, we're just going to go with this. Oh, got more mill. Excellent. Sovereign's a 4-drop, and they have Kahira, so they're also playing a cat sub-theme. Oh, that's really good too. Let's do... We're going to do the Harrow thing to A, get us ahead on land, and B, put something in the yard. We have a green in hand. We'll replace a black and a green. And I'm going Mycotyrant. Let's make them have the removal. I mean, I'm going to take at least 4, if not 5, if they play something else, but I'm not going to sweat that too hard. All right. So we're going to go to the Fabled Passage because this gives us a Descend trigger, which is why you want to try to play as many kind of fetch and sack lands as you can in this deck. Let's go with a black. And let's go Dreadhound. It'll mill us 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. All permanents. No attacks. All right, so Mycotyrant's got a good size on him now. Of course, they could have something like a Exile enchantment or something. All right, it is a cat sub-theme. All right, so Okinec's going to get big. I'm just going to take the hit. Triton can become a speed bump. Let's go with this. If I do... Let's do the Triton. It's like I said, it can be a speed bump. 2 permanents went in. Skyfisher Spider can come down. I'm gonna sack a thing. I'm gonna blow up the Serapard because it can just go away. All right, and then everybody's coming in hard. Yeah, you're not the only one that can make big dumb stuff. All right, we got a Pride Malkin. I mean, I like their deck. I really do. I'm going to stick the Triton in front of that. Along with the spiders to reduce the damage I'm about to take. Yeah, it's like they'll both die. I just want to look at this really quick. Yeah, they'll both die. Dreadhound triggers twice. They'll get nuked down to 5, and then I'm going to have just a ton of stuff coming through, including a big Tramply 7/7. So yeah, they were kind of screwed. We got Atraxa with a My Little Pony avatar. So let's see here. I like the Propagator. I like Retstein. This is actually not too bad. Let's see what we get out of this. The only problem is I'm not going to be able to play the Propagator for a little... Ooh, we got protection for the Mycotyrant. I kind of like that. We're going to have to play this a little out of order because it's not great to play Propagator Primordium without playing it with the Mycotyrant in play. Oh, good. We got a 2-drop that I can use. So if people are... I mean, it's a powerful card, but they are irrationally afraid of the Priest of the Forgotten Gods. And they will go out of their way to kill it, you know, when they probably shouldn't spend that much time on it. We're gonna do Old Rutstein because it gives me some things to do. Okay. And then could put Ghost Form on Rutstein, but I think I'd rather keep it for the Mycotyrant because then I can play him and put Kaya's Ghost Form on it next turn. But Rutstein will mill us next turn. If we get a insect token off of it, that's actually pretty good. Now, I've beaten Atraxa before with this deck, so I'm not too afraid of her. Now, losing a land kind of sucks, though. All right, so let's go with... What do we go with here? Yeah, I think we get Mycotyrant Ghost Form online like we were talking about. I just think that's the smarter play. And then we will pass turn. I mean, I understand why they limited the tokens to not being able to do it, because you could just chain token sacrifices with the Mycotyrant. It just sucks that like other tokens can't trigger it, like the treasures and stuff, because they really do go to the graveyard, but then they cease to exist. But it actually wants a physical thing to exist. Land tax isn't going to get you a whole lot here because I'm super land screwed right now. So, whoops. Atraxa is going to swing for 4. This we know. And unfortunately, they got that O for a wall. So, like, Priest of the Forgotten Gods isn't going to really get me too far in life right now. So, all right. So they got a 5/5 that does stuff. All right. Now we have a couple sacrifices to work with. This I like. We could also just do Propagator Primordium and then do Fanatical Offering, which gives me more stuff to work with. If I did that, I could do... I almost wonder if I should just smash Atraxa or smash that Forsaken Thresher. Because Atraxa's not the bigger problem right now. If I do that, I get more sacrifice fodder into the graveyard. Let's do this. Let's go Propagator Primordium. Let's do Priest. Target you. Sack. So that'll give me 2 mana back. They'll sack that. Okay, it gives me a land, so I can at least get a land down. And then if I use that, sacrifice the Propagator Primordium, I can destroy their... Yeah, you know what? I like this idea. So we'll sacrifice the Propagator, kill Atraxa, just to get it out of my freaking hair. And then I can't use my Ghost Lantern to get back the Propagator, but it gives me several triggers off of Mycotyrant. So there's good reason for sacrificing all this stuff and playing it out like this. They gave up. So I'm now 2-0 against these Atraxa decks. Mythweaver Poq. All right. Hoping this will be my last game of the evening before I start trying to chop this thing up. Yeah, we'll give this a try. I'm actually going to go do this. I hate using it without the Tyrant, but I want to be able to play the Spore Crown Thaladon too. Because with mono green, I'm not too concerned about removal until they get some creatures down. And it's nice having the double black already available for Chupacabra. Alright, let's just go ahead and get the Mycotyrant down. Sweep 2. So what we're going to do then is if they play... Okay, they did not play Poq. They're a little smarter than some. Let's go with the Witcher's Outlook so we can get another green. And that'll give us a trigger for Descend. So at least we're getting something out of that. We do have Skullspore Nexus that's going to be available to us here pretty soon. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and just play the Jade Light Ranger. We're going to try to get Mycotyrant a little bit bigger. Let's put that in the yard. And put that in the yard. Wait. 2 more Descend triggers. So Skullspore Nexus can come down for 2. They can equip the boots. The spike takes 3 to equip, though. They could just put the spike on it. But if they do that, I'm going to blow it sky high. So, let's see. So just die, create a fungus. Do that. I still can't play that. Let's play the tower. Screw it. We're just gonna go for it. We're not gonna get fancy with this. Just kill and smash. It's game over. Good game. Boop. And that's kind of the best scenario with Mycotyrant is if you just kind of curve out and you're just able to play stuff turn after turn and just grind into value with all these tokens going off. So what did you guys think? I had a ton of fun with this deck. This was so cool to sit there and just churn my cards and not even really care if what I was throwing in the graveyard, because I was just like, all right, let's see how many of these tokens we can make. Now, I didn't catch it on camera. I gave you guys a screenshot in one of my community posts earlier in the weekend that showed, this big burst of tokens. I never got to cast on camera Breach the Multiverse. Breach the Multiverse was so good in this deck because you're flipping so many cards into your graveyard and you're able just to smash your opponent. And a lot of these mill triggers work really well with Sir Conrad the Grim because you're just, you're flipping cards off your deck, and you have so many creatures in this deck plus whatever your opponents are flipping into their graveyard. So you're going to drain your opponents for good amounts of damage here. So that you just keep churning along, and then you're getting bonus tokens for nothing. And then if those tokens die in combat, it's more drains. It's just a big, just a downhill snowball of razors. I love it, and it's just a fun deck to play. So if you have some of these cards laying around, I highly recommend trying this out. You don't need some of the rares that are in here. You don't need the Skullspore Nexus. You don't need to have Doubling Season or Parallel Lives. You don't need to have the Roaming Throne. Those are just fun includes that I own in my collection. But so if you don't have the wild cards, don't burn the wild cards on those things. You can get this thing going without any of that. And that's just kind of the icing on the cake to get one of those things down to increase the amount of funguses you're creating and kind of go out of control and just let this deck spiral on your opponents. So with that said, I hope you guys liked this deck as much as I did. If you do, let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, if you're not subscribed, hey, please feel free to give me a subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.